Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Once upon a time, nestled deep within a sun-dappled forest, there lived a family of 3 bears. There was the great big Papa Bear, with a voice as deep and rumbling as a thunderstorm. There was the gentle, kind Mama Bear, whose voice was as soft and sweet as rustling leaves. And then there was the wee little baby bear with a tiny, squeaky voice full of wonder. One bright and beautiful morning, Mama Bear was in the kitchen, bustling about. She had just made a big pot of delicious porridge for their breakfast. It was golden, creamy, and smelled absolutely divine. She carefully poured it into 3 bowls. A great big bowl for Papa Bear, a medium-sized bowl for herself, and a wee little bowl for Baby Bear. But oh, the porridge was far too hot to eat. Papa Bear took one look at the steam rising from his bowl and declared in his great rumbling voice, "My porridge is much too hot." Mama Bear agreed. "My porridge is too hot as well." And Baby Bear squeaked, "My porridge is too hot." So the 3 bears decided to go for a lovely walk in the woods while their breakfast cooled down. They ambled out of their cozy cottage, the door swinging shut behind them, and disappeared among the tall green trees, enjoying the fresh morning air and the cheerful songs of the birds. Now, not long after they had left, a curious little girl with hair the color of spun gold happened to be wandering through that same part of the forest. Her name was Goldilocks, and she was an adventurous soul. As she skipped along, she stumbled upon the bears' charming little cottage. She had never seen it before. "Oh, what a cute little house," she exclaimed to herself. She tiptoed up to the window and peeked inside. Seeing no one, her curiosity got the better of her. She knocked on the door, tap, tap, tap. There was no answer. She knocked a little louder. Still silence. So she gave the door a little push and it creaked open. "Is anyone home?" She called out, but only the ticking of the clock answered her. Feeling a bit bold, Goldilocks stepped inside. The first thing she saw was the table set for breakfast with the 3 bowls of porridge. Her walk had made her quite hungry, and the porridge smelled heavenly. She decided to have just a little taste. First, she went to the great big bowl that belonged to Papa Bear. She took a spoonful. "Ouch!" she cried. "This porridge is way too hot." She quickly put the spoon down. Next, she tried the medium-sized bowl, the one belonging to Mama Bear. She took a careful spoonful. "Black," she said, making a face. "This porridge is too cold." It wasn't appetizing at all. Finally, she tiptoed over to the wee little bowl. It was just the right size for a little girl. She took a spoonful, and her eyes lit up. This porridge is just right." It was so delicious, in fact, that she didn't stop at 1 spoonful. She ate it all up, every last creamy golden drop, until the wee little bowl was completely empty. Feeling full and a little sleepy, Goldilocks decided to explore the rest of the cottage. She wandered into the living room, where she saw 3 chairs lined up against the wall. There was a great big chair for Papa Bear, a medium-sized chair for Mama Bear, and a wee little chair for Baby Bear. "I think I'll rest for a moment," she thought. She climbed into Papa Bear's great big chair. "Oh my!" she grumbled, wriggling around. "This chair is too hard." It felt like sitting on a rock. So she hopped off and tried Mama Bear's medium-sized chair. She sank into the cushions. "Oh dear," she sighed, trying to get comfortable. "This chair is too soft." She felt like she was sinking into a cloud and couldn't sit up straight. Then, she spotted the wee little chair. It looked just perfect. She sat down, and it was a perfect fit. "Ah," she said with a contented sigh. "This chair is just right." She rocked back and forth, enjoying the comfort. But she rocked a little too hard, and crack. The wee little chair broke into pieces, sending Goldilocks tumbling onto the floor with a thump. Surprised and a little embarrassed, Goldilocks picked herself up. By now, she was feeling very, very sleepy. "I think I need a nap," she yawned. She made her way upstairs to the bedroom. In the bedroom, she found 3 beds. A great big bed for Papa Bear, a medium-sized bed for Mama Bear, and a wee little bed for Baby Bear. She decided to try them all out. First, she climbed onto Papa Bear's great big bed. She bounced once. "Oof," she said. This bed is too hard. The mattress didn't give at all. So, she hopped over to Mama Bear's medium-sized bed. She lay down and sank deep into the fluffy covers. "Oh no," she whispered. "This bed is too soft." She felt like she was being swallowed by the pillows and blankets. Finally, she went to the wee little bed. It looked so cozy and inviting. She lay down, and it felt perfect. "This bed," she murmured, her eyelids growing heavy, "is just right." And with that, she pulled the tiny quilt over her, snuggled into the little pillow, and fell fast asleep, dreaming sweet dreams. A little while later, the three bears returned from their walk, feeling refreshed and ready for their breakfast. They walked into their cottage, and Papa Bear immediately noticed something was amiss. "Someone has been eating my porridge," he growled in his great, rumbling voice, pointing a big claw at the spoon in his bowl. Mama Bear looked at her bowl. "And someone has been eating my porridge," she said in her soft, gentle voice, seeing her spoon had also been moved. Then Baby Bear looked at his empty bowl, and his little lip began to tremble. In his tiny, squeaky voice, he cried, "Someone has been eating my porridge, and they've eaten it all up." The three bears were very puzzled. They moved into the living room. Papa Bear looked at his chair. "Someone has been sitting in my chair," he roared, seeing the cushion was squashed. Mama Bear looked at her chair. "And someone has been sitting in my chair," she said, noticing her pillows were all ruffled. Then, Baby Bear looked at the pile of splintered wood on the floor where his chair used to be. "Someone has been sitting in my chair," he wailed, "and they've broken it all to pieces." Now the bears were quite concerned. They decided to check upstairs. They tiptoed up the stairs as quietly as they could. Papa Bear peered at his bed. "Someone has been sleeping in my bed," he growled, seeing the covers were disturbed. Mama Bear looked at her bed. "And someone has been sleeping in my bed too," she said, noticing a dent in her pillow. Then Baby Bear, standing on his tiptoes to see over the side of his bed, let out a tiny squeaky gasp. "Someone has been sleeping in my bed," he squeaked. "And here she is." Just then, Goldilocks' eyes fluttered open. She woke up to see three furry, whiskered bear faces staring down at her. There was a great big face, a medium-sized face, and a wee little face, all looking very surprised. For a moment, nobody moved. Then, Goldilocks let out a shriek. She was so frightened that she leaped out of the wee little bed, scrambled past the three astonished bears, and didn't stop for a second. She flew down the stairs, zipped through the living room, and shot out the front door. She ran and ran and ran, all the way through the forest, without ever looking back. And she ran all the way home to her own house, promising herself she would never ever go into someone's house without being invited again. As for the three bears, they never saw the little golden-haired girl again. They fixed Baby Bear's chair, made some more porridge, and went on living their happy, quiet life in their cozy little cottage in the woods. And that's the story of Goldilocks and the three bears. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more wonderful stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.